Supply chains in a nutshell, part 3. Logistics includes planning, implementing, and controlling the efficient flow and storage of products. Logistics is expensive. Making it more streamlined can offer real competitive advantages. Third-party logistics firms, so-called 3PL firms, have special expertise in physical distribution activities and can often perform logistics activities more efficiently. Using them to help with logistics can reduce marketing channel costs. Transportation is the most expensive part of logistics, representing about 45% of total distribution costs. To take advantage of the benefits offered by various transportation modes, companies often combine two or more modes. Warehousing accounts for about 22% of distribution costs. This includes owning and operating warehouses. Inventory carrying costs represent about 24% of total distribution costs. This is basically the opportunity cost of having money invested in inventory. For example, if a company has a constant inventory worth $10 million, this is $10 million they cannot spend on other needs, such as training or new product development. Customer service and administration combine to account for about 9% of total distribution costs. As a general rule, there's a trade-off between reducing transportation costs and the combination of warehousing and inventory carrying costs. Larger shipments are more economical than small shipments, but large shipments require large warehouses and create larger inventory costs. Shipping in smaller quantities can reduce warehousing and inventory costs, but of course small shipments lead to higher transportation costs. Smaller inventories can also increase the risk of a stockout, which is running out of inventory. Stockouts have costs of their own, including lost sales and unhappy customers. One possible way to reduce transportation costs with small shipments is to ship the loads shorter distances. Just-in-time inventory systems attempt to reduce the investment in inventory and warehousing and at the same time avoid stockouts and high transportation costs. The concept is simple. Have small inventories and small frequent shipments. This may require suppliers to locate near their customers. This is an example of the role of order cycle variability on logistics. This is a very simple and unrealistic example, but the lesson of this example is very realistic, and it can help you understand the impact of just-in-time inventory systems. The example starts with a system that has a lot of variability or variation in how long it takes to perform order preparation, order entry, order picking and packing, transportation, and customer receiving. In this example, the company uses 10 boxes of copy paper each day, 5 days a week. It orders 10 days supply, which is 100 boxes, every 2 weeks. With no variation in the cycle, this is what the inventory level looks like. The company receives 100 boxes and uses the paper at a steady rate. After 2 weeks, it's out of inventory, and the next shipment of paper arrives to replenish the inventory. This cycle repeats every 2 weeks. Now the situation changes. We now have some variability in the system. Order preparation and transmittal take an average of 2 days, but could possibly take as little as 1 day or as long as 3 days. This is an example of variability. Order entry and processing takes an average of 1.5 days, but could last between 1 to 2 days. Order picking and packing takes an average of 3 days, but could take between 1 to 5 days. Transportation takes an average of 2 days, but could take between 1 to 3 days. Customer receiving averages 1.5 days, but could range from 1 to 2 days. The average for the whole cycle is 10 days, but it could be as short as 5 days or as long as 15 days. Since the order cycle might take 15 days, the company needs safety stock of 5 days worth of paper, which is 50 boxes. Safety stock is extra inventory that's used to avoid stockouts. Without the safety stock, the company risks using up all its paper, and it may have to wait 5 more days to receive its most recent order. If the company is a reseller, the stockout will cause lost sales. Here's the situation with 50 boxes of safety stock. Obviously, the average level of inventory is larger, which means higher inventory carrying costs. This slide looks at the impact of reduced variability. Suppose the supplier introduced an online ordering system that immediately enters and processes the order. The first 2 steps in the order cycle now take 1 day with no variability. The whole order cycle now takes a minimum of 4 days, an average of 7.5 days, and at most 11 days. The reduced variability means the company now only needs 1 day of safety stock. One moral to this lesson: high-quality order delivery is not necessarily fast, but it does not vary as much in its order cycle time. Here's the impact on inventory levels. Less safety stock means smaller inventory. Small frequent orders and guaranteed delivery can reduce the need for large inventories. Just-in-time systems replenish inventory just as the existing inventory is used. This may require accurate information systems and close cooperation between vendors and customers. If the vendor locates next to the customer, transportation costs are reduced even though small shipments are used. This is the inventory situation with a just-in-time system. It's clear that average inventory is reduced with just-in-time systems. That's Supply Chains in a Nutshell, Part 3.